What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the Investing Bros live show, or as John S. in chat calls it, the greatest crypto show on earth. Not our words. I promise. We got a great one lined up for you guys today. It is Friday, end of week. We're going to be super positive here, and it's easy to be positive on this October 4th Friday because crypto is pumping. How far are we away from new all-time highs? We're going to talk about that and a whole lot more. Do we know who the actual Satoshi Nakamoto is? Well, HBO is going to potentially make some people believe they know who it is. That's going to be some part of the conversation we're having. But make sure you stick around for the entire show. We got a lot of things to take a look at today, but you got to smash the like button. You got to hit subscribe, and we've got to roll the intro. There we go. Tish Room. How we doing today, my friend?
Better than I deserve, Tim. Much better. Much better than I deserve. It's another day in paradise down here in the great state of Florida. So, how are you doing?
Doing good. I'm doing good. You know what? I'm actually headed to that great state of Florida right after the show. I think I told you guys the other day. My in-laws have property down in the Panhandle, just a little bit east of Tallahassee, that got hit by the storm. They said this is the fourth hurricane in the last couple of years that the eye of the storm literally went right over their house. Luckily, Their property is like their house is fine. Cars are fine. Everything's fine. But there's a bunch of trees all over the yard knocked over. So I'm going to go down there for the weekend to help them clean it up. As soon as this show is over, I'm literally turning the camera off, jumping in my car. Beamer's gets to ride shotgun with me.
Oh, boy.
Taking Beamer down there. My wife went down with her parents who were staying with us this week earlier this morning. So gonna be fun. Gonna be a lot of fun this weekend cleaning up some yards.
Sweet.
Yeah. What about you? What do you got planned for the weekend?
Well, we are going to go on a bioluminescence tour. If you don't know what that is, you can Google it. It's basically there's parts of Florida where there's like wildlife that lives on the seabed that glows, and so you can. We're going to kayak by it, and it's going to be very romantic. We're meeting a friend in Orlando, so we're doing it all this weekend.
You are doing it all. It sounds like a great trip. Well, before we get in here, we're about to jump in and look at some charts. I have a couple of charts I want to take a look at today, but drop a couple if you guys want us to look at a certain chart. It doesn't have to be a crypto. There's a mining stock I want to take a look at today. People have been asking about CleanSpark, so we might have to take a look there. Cool. But there's a couple charts we got to take a look at, but I'd love to hear you guys get a little bit of say in what that is as well. Tisha, let's go to my screen, and we're looking at the bubbles today. I'm really straining, but I do not believe that I see a single red bubble. I'm looking. I'm making sure I'm not misspeaking. But, ladies and gentlemen, I don't think we have ever seen this before, at least while we were on the live show. Every single bubble in the top 100 is green. Now I say that, this little sucker right here. What is this? It's USDC. Doesn't count. All right. I think that slightly has a red circle around it, but it's also the side. You guys probably didn't even see it on the screen. Looks like a little period at the end of very small font. Good day so far. Makes a lot of sense. We are rallying pretty explosively so far today. Carlos Alejandro says, can you look at core, please and thank you? Sure, we can look at core here a little bit later on. Let's take a quick look, though, at Bitcoin. As we said, and this is kind of now more of the official thing we were looking for. You guys know, if you've been watching our show, if you are a daily listener, you're probably a very intelligent person. You've probably been crushing it in the markets here recently because we told you perfectly where to sell, where to take profit, and then we also told you the perfect level to be buying, to buy the dip. And you guys know I don't like the word perfect. It just worked out conveniently that we were pretty darn perfect here over the last couple of weeks. The next level, though, that I did let our community know this morning that we're wrestling with at the moment, but I think we're working to break through it. There is some resistance in this range right here around this $62,300 mark where we are currently trading. It's because that was the last significant high of these lower highs set over the last week or so. It was the level that we needed to watch to get over. You're also going to see when we start to turn on some of our indicators, not only do we have our 4-hour smart trail in that camp right there. If you go to the hourly chart of course, we had a pretty decent size order block with our hourly take profit as well. What does this mean? I'm not saying for certain that we have to reject right here with a small correction, because when I pull up our 1 hour oscillators, I'm not seeing a sell signal. I do see a reversal, but no sell signal. The MACD looks strong with room to the upside. The RSI looks strong with room to the upside. When I move over to the 4 hour chart, it's the same thing. We got our 4 hour buy signal, but that only does let us, it only guarantees us a move up into the smart trail. So keep an eye on this the rest of the day. I would tell everybody, let's watch how the weekend resumes. I am not predicting 70,000 by the end of today. Now, I say that I would love to see that. I'd love to be wrong. I'd love to be driving down to Tallahassee and on the way get a notification Bitcoin is 70,000. I just don't think that's going to happen in the next couple of hours. However, the weekend could get kind of interesting with some of the more recent economic data points and details that are coming out that could be freeing up a lot of investors, especially smart money investors, to go ahead and put their money back into the markets, namely Bitcoin. What we're watching when you go back to my screen is this level right here. We are going to have some, we're going to have like a level of resistance watch till about 63,500. After that, it is pretty easy sailing back up to $66,000. News after 66,000 is reached. You can see here, as we talked about on a more macro time frame, let's go to the daily chart for this just to see it more clearly. After months and months and months of lower highs and lower lows, we set the first higher low back here on September 28th when we broke to 66,000 above the highs of August 24th. We have now set a higher low. T-Shroom, do you know what it's called when you set higher highs and higher lows? That's the song, yes.
An uptrend?
It's called an uptrend or a bull trend. There you go. This is exactly what we wanted to see for the bulls to take control. We wanted to see a higher low put in, and that's exactly what we've seen happen over the last couple of days. So Bitcoin well on its way back up here towards all-time highs. If you start to turn back on indicators, what we're watching right now, there's an order block and a take profit level up here at $71,000. That's very interesting. That also would put us above that declining trend line, that red line right there that we've been under for so long. After that breaks out, ladies and gentlemen, you have got an explosive move to the upside, looking upwards to prices getting us to, I think the other day we had like 93, so this is a little off, but $93,000 is the breakout of that longer term formation of a broadening falling wedge. Only thing is, I don't think we're going to stop right there. I think the rally only continues after that, but it's something from a chart perspective just to keep on the radar. If we get some form of a stern rejection around 92, 93,000, you guys know it's because people probably are taking profit from trading that formation. That's what we are looking like here on Bitcoin. The Bitcoin dominance still heading its way towards 60,000. Took a little bit of a cool off today. Nothing major, but it's back down to 58.10%. But like I said, I still believe historically this will top out when we get an explosive run on Bitcoin that kind of outpaces the rest of the altcoin space. Dominance will skyrocket to its high. It will then keel over, and alt season will begin with alts going absolutely berserk. But with that said, while we're talking about Bitcoin, let's keep it in the Bitcoin family. Let's talk about CleanSpark. CleanSpark is one of the, T-Shroom, you have to correct me. Is it officially the largest stock for Bitcoin miners, or does Marathon rival it? Beautiful eloquence that we cannot hear.
Yeah, I don't know. If it's the biggest by market cap. Yeah, I can look it up though.
Yeah, take a look at that one. Now, we were tracking here before, and we're getting a nice boost here today. You can see the last couple of days have been white candles, but there still is this level of, because we're so close to this rising support line, I wouldn't be surprised if this blue line was hit in one form or another. We do have a very interesting order block on the lower level of this take profit coming in down here towards $8. But honestly, with the way Bitcoin is rallying right now, with the way the markets are moving, maybe we actually start to get a rally and touch this line much further into the future. So right now, we're kind of holding off on CleanSpark, a lower move back down below $8 at the moment. Let's take a look at some other indicators, though, or other oscillators, excuse me. We did get a good buy signal back here on the 10th. The smart trail, where is our smart trail on here? That would call for a massive rally if we go all the way up to the smart trail. That's asking a lot, but we're talking about a move back up towards $20 per share here on CleanSpark. Keep in mind, right now we're trading about $9.63, so over on 100% move just to play out to the smart trail. But traditionally, if you guys have been following us, these buy signals don't always make it. I'm not saying it's a 100% guarantee, but more often than not, when you get good buy signals on any time frame, it's not that long before smart trails are touched as resistance. In this case, we have a major bullish divergence, bullish momentum, bullish money flow, bullish reversals. Our MACD's bullish, our RSI's bullish. So many reasons to look to the upside. Let's start off by just saying, you know what? It'd be nice just to make it back up here to the highs. This lower high we set back in August 24th. Let's make it back up towards $12 before we look too much further into the future. Let's look at the weekly chart really quickly, and then we'll move on from this one. We did come down, bounce off of this order block, but again, it could stretch us all the way to 642. So that weekly chart definitely showing that if the bottom's not in, it's definitely close. But at the moment, there is a little bit of a, hey, we got to wait and see on CleanSpark. But like I said, with everything happening in the Bitcoin space so positively, with everything happening in the economy details and data points so positively, that is something I absolutely think we should be keeping an eye on for the positive direction. Speaking of positive direction, and people are going to be upset about this, but recently we've been trading right alongside of it. The Dixie has skyrocketed today. Dixie, after falling below 100 for the first time since all the way back in December of 2023, we have exploded over the last couple of days. We're now back up above $102. This is something we told you could happen. Why? Well, because we had found ourselves in a falling channel or a descending channel. Traditionally, these break to the upside. And if this goes to its fullest extent of what it's capable of doing, we very well could see the Dixie make its way back up here towards 102.76. We have a little bit further to go to the upside. Why are we talking about this? And why am I kind of talking about the Dixie in a way that sounds interesting? Well, it's because historically, most times you look at the Dixie, which is the value of the US dollar, you look at it and say, whatever the dollar does, Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies should be doing the opposite. But if you've been tracking the Dixie and Bitcoin ever since those March highs, you're actually going to find, while the Dixie's dropped a lot faster than Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, it's been trading kind of similarly. There are days where Dixie pumps, and so do the crypto markets. There's days where Dixie crashes, and so do the crypto markets. One day, we will get back to where those are divergent, and we see the opposites kind of play out. But for now, anyone who's seeing the Dixie climb and is worrying, that actually in recent history has been a positive sign for the market. So you shouldn't be freaking out. Like I said, though, there will become a day, maybe soon, maybe the next couple of days, we will finally see a return to balance, a return to normalcy, and we watch the Dixie and Bitcoin trade inversely. But those are the charts that I had planned here today, T-Shroom. Now, somebody we had a super chat asking to look at Core. So let's go take a look at Core, and then we'll jump into some news for the day. And after that, we will, what is this? Core, what did I just look up? I just want Core USD. I don't want this PM crap. All right, I guess we're going to do this, but it's not going to give it to me the way I want.
Find it. In the meantime, I pulled up, these are the largest Bitcoin miners by market cap. You got at the top here, Marathon Digital Holdings is number one at
Core Scientific passed it, okay.
4.8 billion. Mm-hmm. Core Scientific there, 3.1. And man, I got to say, the stock price, the stock chart, look for Cores, CORZ, looks very strong compared to the rest of the Bitcoin mining companies. And then CleanSpark, they're picking up third, 2.4 billion. Riot not too far behind, 2.3 billion. So, and then total, there's a lot more than I thought there would be. There's 24 that are listed here on companiesmarketcap.com. So, pretty interesting stuff. But yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at Core. Core's a very volatile cryptocurrency. Let's take a look at it.
Yeah, I'll say that it is, and we need to see some more bullishness come in before I feel good about Core. But what I will start by saying is we are making some positive moves here. Clearly, there is something screaming about this level right in here. I'm going to make a little box. This level right here, just south of $1, we're talking about 87 cents to about 77 cents. Clearly, very strong support. If you kind of look at this historically, you can see as we extend it, it's been a level of former support resistance throughout the duration of the existence of core. So that's actually a very strong point right now. If you're looking for a good entry, historically, these levels, unless something really bad happens and Course finishes a project, we are communicating over the last couple of months since back here in July. This is a level that long-term core holders just are buying up and refusing to sell. This is where all the liquidity kind of dries out. Now, there also was a good little descending trend line that was in play here. Let's go to the candle buddy closes here. That's going to make it a little bit I think it's going to make us all touch. There we go. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 strong touches here. And we did break out above. We did actually even not just break above this line. Let's make this red because I don't like when yellow is my resistance line. I like red to be resistance. We broke above, closed a candle above, opened and closed several candles above, bounced off the red line, had another rally with a slightly higher high. I bet you if you take a look at lower time frames, like let's say the 4-hour chart, I bet you in here we had, bearish divergence. That's exactly what I was thinking. But now we've crossed back down below that resistance line and we're working to break back up through it. Again, though, we came down into this historically strong level of support back down here at 86 cents. So this is things that I'm definitely watching and saying, hey, this should be positive moving forward. You can see right here, while we don't have an official buy signal on the daily chart, we do have a strong green reversal. We do see the daily oscillator is curving. Let me go full screen so you guys can see it. It's starting to slow down that bearish momentum. We have negative money flow still going to the downside, but that could flip. If these both flip to the upside, watch that money flow get positive once again. Coming out here, you also can see this money flow. This is something I don't do a whole lot. I gotta go back full screen. You don't see me do this necessarily a whole lot, but you can see a clear trend in money flow. Just like you can trend line candles, you can trend line your oscillators as well. This money flow has been putting in higher lows throughout this process. So even if this money flow flows back down, it's not going to get that much further downside before it curves and goes to the upside. More than likely, a daily buy signal will be coming very, very soon on the core chart. Let's see what the 4-hour is saying when we turn on indicators and oscillators, because this one, just as I expected, we do have a buy signal on the 4-hour chart. Look at this. We got multiple reversals, bullish momentum, and that money flow is going positively. This is a buy signal, and by the nature of our rules, what we say is we trade this up to a smart trail. Where is that smart trail at the moment here on the 4-hour chart? Well, that 4-hour chart is going to bring us up here, back above the red line, up south end 95.4 cents, north end 97.4 cents. Here's the thing, though. As some of you guys, if you're in our trading group, will know, you take these buy signals on the lower time frames, but you start to stretch them and say, as we work up the time frames, can we keep this train going? Will one buy signal lead into another buy signal, lead into another buy signal? And at this point, I guarantee you, if we go back over here, I guarantee if I look at the hourly chart, we got a buy signal back in here. Wasn't a perfect one, but we got a buy signal back in here. We trickled that 1-hour buy signal into the 4-hour buy signal. Now the 4-hour buy signal is going to be trickling. Let's go look at the 8-hour where we have, guess what, ladies and gentlemen, a buy signal, putting us in that area of about $1.03 as a target. But if that continues, as I mentioned on the daily chart where we are close, probably a couple of days away, if that can continue to trickle up and up and up and up, you stay in that long position. And if we do get a trigger on the daily chart, we're looking at a move back up around $1.20. $1.18, $1.20 is where that daily smart trail is. So keep your eyes on core. It is under lower time frame buy signals, but can it continue to trickle up, and we get a daily one very, very soon? I'm bullish on core. Why? Because it hits some major, major support. And really, when you do that, there's only one direction you can go in price, and that's to the upside. Good reason to be buying and holding some core. Before we transition into the news, Peter Ellaby gave a super chat. Thank you so much. What is SEK, T-Shirt? Do you know what that currency is?
SEK? I do not know.
Well, whatever it is, thank you so much for giving. What's next for Sui now that the pump became real amongst the much-needed correction? We're still looking at a correction on Sui. We've covered Sui a lot, but it was the hottest token around. Let's go. Let me find that real quickly. We'll be very quick with this.
SEK is the Swedish krona.
Swedish krona. Thank you. And Bedridden put that in chat as well. All right, so our line moved. If you guys are watching the other day, we talked about a zone here around 130 to 135. We also talked about a zone all the way down towards $1. Now, there's liquidations all the way down towards $1, also a major bullish breaker block. But our smart trail is rising here. So now this new zone, I really have to move this. The big argument actually should be just to come down into this order block. Now we're looking at 144 to about 135, give or take, being the bottom of it rather than the top. I still believe we need to see a correction. Well, why is that? Well, we're getting a lot of negativity on the daily oscillator. This is going to be the exact opposite of what I showed you a second ago. Do we have a sell signal on the daily chart right now? No, because we have the reversals, we have the bearish momentum, we have a bearish divergence in play as well. But look at the money flow. The money flow is flowing to the upside. Here's the thing, though. You guys see this bright green right in there? That is a sign that this part of the money flow being positive and the market's going to the upside, it had to have excessive buyers come in to kind of prop it up. When they leave, that's when the price will have a good correction. I bet you if we go over here and look at the 4-hour chart, we didn't really get a sell signal here. So it's trading sideways at the moment. We got a sell signal back in here. Let's go to the 8-hour chart real quickly. Sell signal back in here. All right, so we have been getting these sell signals, although we're seeing a small bounce in these lower time frames. Let's watch right here and see it. Like I said, bearish divergence is in play. It just looks primed and ready with being 100% overbought, with the MACD crossing bearish for the first time since back here on August 27th. There's just a lot of reason for a correction to come in, and then again, at the very least, a smart trail being touched somewhere in the camp of $1.40. Yes, we are still looking at a pullback for SUI before the rally continues, because I'm not saying I'm bearish on SUI. I'm not saying that SUI's not going to have a phenomenal bull market. What I'm saying is it had a very nice rally over the last couple of weeks. It is overextended. It is very normal for traders and investors to ride and take profits from one of their most successful investments and translate it into something else that they really like, but maybe hasn't had an explosive move just yet. We just looked at Core, not a bad option to go move it over to a coin that hasn't been moving just yet. But it does look like SUI, as strong as it is, needs to have a little bit of a correction. I don't think we're going to be having a major rally on that over the next couple of days. But I could be wrong. We'll have to wait and see as that one plays out. T-Shroom, it is 3:22.
Tis.
Great chats so far.
Yeah.
Great engagement. Make sure everybody smash the like button. There's a little less people in here today, but I'll tell you this. Right now, we have over 480 people watching. It's a Friday. Some people are going out of town. They're just not necessarily interested in crypto. If we get to 300 likes before we get to 3:30, we have 8 minutes. We'll give away $25, even if we don't get to the 600. We have giveaways to do later on the show as well for our members, but 300 likes, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll give away $25. Smash that like button right now. T-Shroom, take us off into the news.
And if for no other reason, Tim's lighting now, especially when he turns his head to the side, his lighting of his studio looks really, really good, and he's worked hard on that. So he deserves the like. Smash it. Let's get the 300. Somebody's going to get $25. Tim, we can't get away from you. We cannot get enough Tim. Because we're going to your Twitter, because unemployment rate in the U.S. hits 4.1%, beating expectations of 4.2%. Checking out the tradingeconomics.com, you can see the non-farm payrolls also printed this morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. 254,000 was the actual print. The previous was 159,000. And then the consensus was 140 to 130K. Okay, so we came in over that. That is good news for labor. And good news, unfortunately here, could be translated by the market as bad news, as this gives Jerome Powell more confidence to keep rates elevated to continue to force inflation down. It's still not at that key rate, that target rate of 2%. So what does this translate to? Essentially a 25 basis point cut in November 7th, right after the election in the United States, versus a 50 basis point cut. Now, of course, this is just one data point, and this is the correct way to interpret it. The unemployment rate. Go ahead, Tim. What's up?
Well, I wanted to chime in there because this also has affected some other things that we track here. If you would go to my screen, we were talking about, or the conversation for November was talking about do we need a 25 basis point cut or a 50 basis point cut, right? Another 50. Well, after recent data, this is why I think it's positive. I think being very modest and level with 25 basis points for both November and December makes a lot of sense. And the discussion right now actually shifted from, all right, the highest probability is going to be 25 basis points with conversation about 50. Now all of a sudden we're pretty convinced we're going to cut by 25 basis points, but the conversation is, should we just go ahead and go pause again after a big 50 basis point cut? Do we go back to a pause to see how things go? Why is that? Well, if we can cut interest rates and unemployment goes to the downside, well, we're not quite at our inflation target. We could keep trying to tackle the inflation point. People are getting jobs. This looks like a good thing. Now, I'll pause right there because I know, as I said everything I just said, there's probably 37 of you that were like, Tim, don't fall for the lies. Unemployment is way out of control. They're lying to us. It's election season. And that's what you guys all sound like, in case you didn't know. You're right. No, listen, what we're reporting right here, T-Shim and I are not saying we believe all the data points. We're not saying that if you were to go and poll every single person in America about how their jobs are actually going, would the data that the government's giving us be accurate, right? That's not what we're saying. But it's all we have to go off of. And unfortunately, this is what we talked about the other day. If you think that trading your reality, your experience, your emotions is going to be a winning plan for you, I'm very, very sorry. It is not. Trading your emotions or trading reality and ignoring data is what will wreck you. Why? Because the smart money, they know it's lying too, but they also know how the retail investors are going to respond to things. And if you're saying that they're lying to us and the economy is going to be in trouble, smart money is buying because they know you're not. Learn to read these data points and ride them for your investment purposes. Why? Because that's what smart money, whales, institutions do. That's how you trade and invest in this market.
Absolutely, Tim. And for those of you who are keeping score with the Fed, as you should if you're investing, November 7th is the decision, and then December 18th will be the final decision of 2024. We will also get a summary of economic projections that includes a revision of the dot plot. All right. One more note on this. Tim showed the CME futures, but Polymarket is currently 82.5% likely to go 25 basis points over 50 basis points, which is just coming in just under 10% likely there. Yeah. So almost equal to no change, almost equal to a pause, 50 basis points is. So we'll keep moving. This is a bullish sign here. CNBC says Bitcoin could still reach $100,000 this year. CNBC, of course, a mainstream financial media outlet here in the United States. Bitcoin is flipping in and out of bear mode, but could still reach $100,000 this year. Kind of a little bit of an awkward phrasing there in their headline, but ultimately, a lot of mainstream financiers and money managers are going to be reading CNBC, probably not read too much further than the headline, but seeing that $100,000 mark, just continues to pump optimism right in the right direction of those who have a lot of money and those who manage a lot even more. Mm-hmm. So bullish. Something not so bullish, but kind of makes sense is we've been tracking the overall outflows and inflows for the Bitcoin ETFs. The last 3 days have had outflows, but those histograms have been waning. And more than likely today, we may even see that today was an inflow. However, we won't get that data until 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Looking at the weekly histograms for these, we still have a little bit of time left to print a green histogram here to keep our streak going. But I think the chances are that we're probably not going to get up above the level needed to do that. So we'll keep moving. Nothing to be too discouraged about there. Everybody is about to know what Bitcoin is because HBO is putting out a documentary about the mystery of Bitcoin's creator, Satoshi Nakamoto. This is called Money Electric, the Bitcoin Mystery. That's a super weird title, but there we go. Tim, are we going to find out just who Satoshi is in this documentary, or do you think it's going to completely disappoint folks?
There's about a 0.7% chance we find out who Satoshi Nakamoto is.
So you're saying there's a chance?
I'm saying there's a chance. No, I mean they're not going to know here. And I told Shroom before we went live here. I don't have a lot of thoughts here. I'm going to say what my thoughts are, and we're going to get in and out of this because we don't know what this is going to be. It could be positive, right? This could be a very positive show that it shows Satoshi Nakamoto or kind of talks about him as if he was a revolutionary, which is what I personally believe he is. That could be really positive, convincing a lot of people, yeah, our government does suck with the way they handle money. We need to get in on this Bitcoin stuff, right? That's the positive. It's HBO, though. They also could paint him as a wacko, crazy person. Maybe they're going to try to say it's there's that age-old thought that maybe it's a Russian secret agent who's trying to mess with the rest of the world. It's a dumb argument. But is that what they say? And do you potentially scare the average retail investor from getting their money into Bitcoin? Let's wait and see when it comes out. Maybe we'll have some form of a viewing party. I don't know the legality of that, T-Shroom. Maybe as a community, though, we can watch it together and break down what it means. But for now, let's hold too many thoughts because we need to see it before we know what impact it will have.
Well, Tim, here on the Investing Bros, you're actually going to learn who Satoshi is. We're going to learn it live, or at least we're going to learn what Polymarket is predicting. So there is a betting spread over on Polymarket. Really? Who will HBO documentary identify as Satoshi? And right now, with 53% certainty, only slightly less than the market has certainty of what the Fed's going to do in November, is Lynn Sassaman. And Lynn Sassaman, you might be wondering, is Leonard Harris Sassman, born April 9th, 1980, and he passed away July 3rd, 2011, was an American technologist, information privacy advocate, and the maintainer of the Mixmaster Anonymous remailer code and operator. Okay, so he's a cryptographer. He's so you guys got the name right here on the Investing Bros of the true Satoshi. Of course, it may be, maybe not, but this is what Polymarket right now. That's what the spread's saying. Very, very interesting. Hal Finney up there at 12%. Adam back. Tim, what do you think? How silly is this?
It's silly. I actually, and I'm not saying that necessarily any names on that list can't be involved. I don't think we'll ever really know the answer. I think there's actually a problem if we ever factually 100% know the answer. But let's just say we did. I would be highly surprised if Bitcoin wasn't created by a team. I mean, even when you think about some of these other cryptocurrencies, everyone likes to talk about Ethereum and Vitalik Buterin. Vitalik Buterin did not build Ethereum by himself. He had a massive team, people like Charles Hoskinson and Gavin Wood. Then you have people split off, and everyone gives Gavin Wood Polkadot. That's not necessarily true. Gavin Wood had a whole group of people that helped him build Polkadot. Charles Hoskinson built Cardano. He has a whole group of people in IOHK. Do you have a lead voice, a lead visionary? Yeah, and there probably is a lead visionary of Bitcoin. But I would be very surprised if Satoshi Nakamoto is one person. I highly believe it is a team of cryptographers who also we're getting sick and tired of how the money, they saw the end. They saw how money was going. They saw how this would destroy not only people, but whole governmental economies. And they found a solution. And it was a very revolutionary tactic. I think they did a very good job of making it so that you'll never know who they actually are.
Wow. There you go. That's the theory. I tend to agree. I think that nobody really knows. I think if anybody really knew, we would know, right? It would have something like that. The origin of at one point, $2.5 trillion asset is going to be known. Like that's going to leak to the public in one way or another. Humans these days are very, very bad at keeping secrets with the internet being so easy to access. But overall, we'll see. We'll give HBO the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to definitely tune in because I want to see what the mainstream eyes and ears are getting exposed to when it comes to Bitcoin. Tim, that is almost all of the news. We've got a altcoin here that's coming into the limelight. Grayscale launches the Aave Trust. The fund offers investors exposure to Aave, the native token of Aave, Ethereum's largest decentralized lending platform by TVL. Aave continues to dominate DeFi with innovative crypto lending solutions. Now, it doesn't say it in this tweet, but my guess is that this is only going to be available to accredited investors, similar to a lot of the funds that we've seen Grayscale spin out over the last couple of months. So potentially big boost there for Aave. Again, all of these trusts coming out. They're going to have to compete with one another, but it is technically a new way for these projects to get adoption, get invested in. So that's bullish overall for Aave. Tim, are you ready? Are you ready for today's factoid of the day?
I don't know if anyone could ever be 100% ready for a factoid of the day, but I'm as ready as I'm going to get.
I'm going to tell you right now, Tim, you're not ready for today's, but we're going to have to do it anyway. Today's factoid of the day brought to you all by who we trust with our crypto taxes. That's decrypted.tax, link in the description. Which animal is the closest living relative to the Tyrannosaurus Rex, Tim? Is it A, the alligator, B, Komodo dragon, C, crocodile, or D? And I'm hearing that potentially you're starting to think it might be D, the chicken.
Listen, dinosaurs never went extinct. They were birds. They were birds the whole time. It's D, chicken. Final answer.
Okay. Not leaving folks much time to make their own decisions there, but that's all right. Let's see.
Yep. Yep.
According to the scientific consensus, the closest living relative to the Tyrannosaurus Rex is a chicken, meaning that birds, like chickens, are considered the modern descendants of the dinosaurs like T-Rex. So, Tim, that's pretty wild. I don't know how that's true, but that is apparently true according to multiple internet sites.
You know what's crazy?
Sources.
You know what's crazy? So dinosaurs have more in common with chickens.
Yes.
Birds, right?
Here we go.
And then what are the ones that fly? The dinosaurs that fly. Pterodactyls. Pterodactyls aren't birds. They're flying reptiles. So pterodactyls have more in common with reptiles, and dinosaurs have more in common with birds, but we have flipped them to where we're like, oh, pterodactyls are pretty much just dinosaur birds, and dinosaurs are pretty much just living day reptiles. And it's like, nope, that's wrong. The dinosaurs are birds. The pterodactyls were reptiles. There's your fun. I just turned a fun fact back on you. That's called inversion of the fun fact, or fun fact inversion. So,
well, Tim, all I'll say is that you're a very knowledgeable young man, and clearly you have put a lot of thought into dinosaurs, but you're not the only one. There are many children's shows that have spent a lot of time trying to explore the imagination of what it might have been like to check out dinosaurs back in the day.
Listen, T-Shroom, some people have called me a dinosaur expert. I mean, I talk about Cardano and Ethereum all the time, so you know, it's just part of the things you got to study. I was looking for a laugh track there or a but clearly we're not on the same page, and we're gonna proceed to go.
I apologize.
I want to circle back, T-Shroom, to something we were talking about earlier, because there's gonna be some people who probably agree with this, probably some people who are a little bit skeptical of Bitcoin at this point still making $100,000 before the end of the year, and I want to make sure we're just addressing this the right way. If Bitcoin doesn't pick it up here very, very soon, if they don't start to actually make a real move, then anyone who's in camp, no way Bitcoin makes it to 100,000 by the end of the year. They're going to be right. But if you haven't been invested in Bitcoin that long, I want to show you just how fast and how violent Bitcoin can actually move. Now, some of you maybe are in here since March, so you haven't been a part of any real explosive firework movements. And if that's the case, I apologize. Get ready. It's going to happen. But those who invested, let's say, for a little over a year, you guys know that we had a very explosive, actually two different kind of legs here. Going back to October, so pretty much exact year ago, we had a very explosive move from around $26,000, $27,000 to $49,000 as we were waiting in anticipation for the Bitcoin spot ETF. Then, after a little cool-off year, we had another major explosive movement from January into March, where we went from $38,000 all the way up to new all-time highs at $73,74. Those are two very explosive moves. I mean, we're talking about, let's get this number right here, if I can grab this correctly. We're talking about within a 2-month period, a major 90% move to the upside. That is fast and explosive. But that doesn't even compare to what we have seen Bitcoin do during what I think is about to happen's time period of a 4-year cycle, right? This very explosive movement, right? Very explosive movement. Let's go back to 2021. Look at even just the comparison here of how kind of more horizontal, like this is explosive up and to the right, but it's clearly at an angle. It's up and to the right. It took some time. look at how fast when Bitcoin decided to turn it on back in October of 2020. Guess what happened in October 2020? The last election. And it didn't go the way a lot of people thought should have been good for the markets. Just want to maybe throw that one out there for in case you're sitting here saying, oh, Bitcoin's bullishness depends on who's elected president. I don't think the markets really wanted Biden to be president, and yet we would go on to have an explosive run in the Bitcoin bull market. Look how absolutely crazy explosive we got in just a short couple of months. If you start back here, let's go the end of October, kind of November period, into this right here, January 9th, right? So we're pretty much going to say the exact same time period between now and end of year. We saw the price of Bitcoin in that 3-month span rally 290%. Now, does that mean Tim is predicting right now an explosive 290% rally to the upside? Not really. That would, if it happened, it would bring us up to, what is that? $246,000 by the end of year. Not going to happen. That being said, can we see another parabolic multiple days in a row with major bullish candles, even have a couple blue days mixed in along the way? Abso-freaking-lutely. Why? Because again, in that 4-year cycle, in the way that Bitcoin moves, we warned you about this before. The halving events, people get really bullish about them, but yet Bitcoin will go on for months being boring and sideways. But then the fireworks will take off and it'll explode like a bottle rocket. Guess what? We've done our time. We've been through the halving event. We've now been 7-8 months past it with this sideways, boring price action. The fireworks are getting ready to go off. And when it like that, it'll go off just like that. And it'll surprise the crap out of you, just like that surprised me. And you'll make a lot of money in the process.
My apologies. My water bottle fell on the wrong button there. And we had a little bit of an extra fun lesson there.
Listen, if you need to soak up that water, I got some extra toilet paper I can send your way.
Oh, boy. He earned that one, ladies and gentlemen. He earned that one for sure. I'm loving it.
Anyway, there's my hopium to the masses for you guys today. When Bitcoin starts moving, it's a crazy train. We're traders. We're constantly looking at levels of resistance. When I start to see all of that running, that's why I have a long-term hodl bag. I'm going to leave it. You guys are going to come in here and say, Tim, where are we going to stop out? Watch me for the next couple of months. Just sit back, put my hands on my head, drink my sweet tea, and just say, let it ride, baby, because that's what these bull markets end up doing. It wasn't just there. If you go back, if you guys want to even look back, if you're like, oh, that was a one-time fluke, go back and take a look back here in as the bull market took off in 2017. Go back and look back here when the bull market took off in 2013. These portions of the bull market get very, very vertical, not very horizontal, very vertical, and they do it in a heartbeat. So get ready, load up now while you can, and it's going to happen very, very soon. Super chat from James F. Bro, they found Shiba Inu's real name, and it's Esty. Okay. Thank you for the super chat. If that was a shill, I don't know if Esty's a project. Do your own research before you do it. James, give another one. Check out Esty. It's Shiba Inu's name. Confirmed. Again, is that an actual name or is that another project? What is it?
What's interesting for all the UD gens out there, it sounds to me like there might be kind of a growing trend, cultural trend in crypto of like the original founder of whatever it is, right? Because this HBO documentary is going to be seen around the world, and it's a lot of intrigue of the true origin of Bitcoin, right? So I stay very far away from the meme coin cultural trend stuff, but that could be a rising trend, kind of like how cats were big, trying to take over the dog coins and stuff. Yeah, I would stay away from Etsy. I appreciate the donation there, Etsy. But
yeah,
thank you for correcting, Tim. Yeah.
There's more comments in there as well saying that it is people. This is clearly a shill. Mods, you can leave James super chat if people come in here talking about SD. We don't need to ban them. Just maybe put them in timeout for the rest of the show. Clearly a shill coming on in here. I'm gonna time out this guy right here. Come back later. Come back next week. I'm gonna put you in 30 minutes. 30 minutes. You don't get to talk. We got another super chat from Javi. Nobody the hate monger says, let the market rip like Beyblade. Don't get that reference. T-Shroom, do you get that reference? I don't know what Beyblade is.
I do, Tim. I was I was not allowed to have Beyblades as a kid. This was a Beyblade. So this is this isn't a good example of what it's doing when it rips. Here, stand by.
Okay.
Let me see if I can find a good Beyblade rip. I might not be able to, but it was kind of like Pokemon where you would collect them and then you would like battle. It's a thing. It like spins in a bowl and then they hit each other. Why can't I find a freaking GIF of this? Okay, that's terrible.
Why weren't you allowed? I mean, here's my question: why weren't you allowed to have them?
Just because they were Pokemon adjacent enough.
Oh, that'll do it. That'll do it.
Yeah. I can't find anything that's very illustrative of what I'm trying to convey, but sorry, bros. Beyblades, either you know them or you don't. But they were cool. I think they were cool.
Well, yeah. I learned something new there.
I don't think the chicks were into them. I don't think you're going to get very far on a date by sitting there talking about Beyblades. Or dinosaurs, for that matter.
Well, let's do this, T-Shroom. While we are transitioning here, we're probably going to end a little soon, a little shorter show today because we've run out of news to talk about. And again, I want to get on the road, get down to Florida. Still going to be a late night. It's got like a 6-7 hour drive ahead of me. But we have a giveaway for our members. Really quickly, though, if you guys ever watch us doing the charts, breaking down the news, talking about trading and investing, and maybe you're newer, right? Maybe you're newer or you've been investing for a while, but you haven't found a lot of success and you want more hands-on attention and training on how to do technical analysis, how to trade and get in and out at the right times, follow other traders, and also just get amazing advice about how to set up your portfolio and make money in this bull market. That is what our membership options are all about. I guarantee you, for the value that we put out every single day, there's not another community out there that you're going to learn more from for less money. Go check out those membership options right now. And you also get entered, just like we're about to do, to win a giveaway. Today, since it's the first week of the month, everyone who's a member, not just our Pro Bros, not just our Ultimates members, everybody is entered to win. And today's a $100 giveaway here, T-Shroom. So this is going to be a big one. Go ahead and go to my screen and let's spin this spinny wheel. A lot of names on here. It's going to be good. Of course, the spinny wheel is brought to you guys by Lux Algo as well. Fab Five is today's winner. $100 goes to Fab Five. This is what you do. Fab, we see you in chat all the time. We'll remind you in Discord, but you got to reach out to T-Shroom. If you want to get your money, we don't DM people. We let you guys DM us. It's also a very important thing that we tell you guys this. When you sign up for the memberships, which you should go and do right now, make sure that if you get a friend request or a message from someone claiming to be either myself or T-Shroom or even Crux, our local portfolio expert, we don't do that. We will not have you copy trade us. We will not have you send us additional money to get into some special investment group. That's not us. Unfortunately, in this world of technology, people use their skills and knowledge to scam people rather than to be honest and earn a respectable wage. We will never reach out to you ourselves. We will always have you reach out to us to make sure it's the right people communicating. That's just a good advice for everyone, though. Be careful whenever you get anything on the internet with links and asking you to send money. Always question and say, what really is going on here? I don't know what's happening. But congratulations to Fab Five for that winnings. T-Shroom, we're going to wrap it out here. Anything you want to say while we watch these? What are these called again?
These are Beyblades, Tim. These are the Beyblades of it all. Again, this was what I jealously watched my friends play with, and I was never allowed to engage due to the potential negative impacts on the spiritual world that they may have had or may not have had. Thanks, Mom.
I don't.
This is what I missed out on.
Everybody, as we wrap out the show.
Just that. That's the main. That's the main takeaway. No. Have a safe weekend. Really, try to spend time with family, touch grass, and yeah, it's just going to be a good time.
Yeah.
Stay safe.
I will be out tomorrow, but T-Shroom and Crux will be going live for a Saturday morning live show at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Javi Nobody, the hate monger, says the new wave is better is betting your Bitcoin on Beyblades. There we go. That's one way to do it. With that said, I will see you guys next week on Monday. I'll be back in town. We're going to hopefully be seeing Bitcoin and crypto prices a whole lot higher. But you guys have a fantastic weekend. Go watch some grass. Eat some good food. Spend time with family. Watch some football, American football, because it's awesome. And we'll see you guys next time. Adios. Love ya.